Hello, welcome to Land of Kakiak. My name is Laurel. It's Saturday. There are some things I've been wanting to get done for school that I just couldn't quite find the time during the school week that we had to do. So I'm just gonna make a quick to-do list for myself. Saturday morning, we'll see how far I can get. So I do need to get stuff ready. Co-op is going to be starting soon. We didn't do co-op last year, but we're going to do it this year. And I need to make sure I have all of the syllabi for all my kids' classes. I need to set up some binders for them. I really wanted to tidy my little morning basket area. It tends to get kind of disheveled over there where I read. We kind of had a test run week this week. So I'm going to do some recording of what we got done and kind of do some thinking on how I want to keep my records for this year. I have to keep them for my state. I also need to dig out the kids' backpacks, and I need to make sure I apply to our Homeschool association. I've been putting that off. And the schoolroom could just use a tidy. It really could use a deep clean, but I'm not going to have time. A tidy will have to be good enough for today. So let's go. All right, so I've already done a couple of things, but one thing I wanted to do was to update my book list. I picked up these nature readers or science readers. These were a recommendation from Sherry over at Mom Delights, and I believe she said they are in the public domain, so you can find them and print them. But they're pretty reasonably priced on christianbooks.com. I'll link them for you. And what I liked about these was that they're leveled readers, so I'm always trying to get myself out of the equation if I can. So if sometimes I like to be doing science with the little kids, and sometimes, there's periods of life where I'm less available or I need to shift my energy to something else. And so it's nice to have an option that they have a reader that's like on their reading level. I was looking at them. I'm not sure. It says you can start reading them in kindergarten. I'm not sure that any of my kids could have read these in kindergarten, but definitely they could read them probably starting like in second grade, I would think. But I don't know, maybe you have a more advanced reader who could start them earlier. Speaking of books, my oldest is reading the Murderous Math series right now, and I needed to make him a bookmark with and a vocab list for this book. Since it's not on the RC list, there's not a vocab list that would come with it. So I am just going to vocabulary.com and looking up, this is a book on probability. And I'm going to see, if any other teachers or anything have made vocabulary lists on this subject. And I found one, a middle school probability vocab list. And he could use the site and do the flashcard drill and stuff in here. But it's easier I just give him the word list with the definitions. You'll see if you make that here in a second. And then he has a notebooking page in his unofficial RC notebook that I just have him work on his words each day after his reading. So yeah, I'm just going to copy and paste and just put it into a Word document and just print it off and use it as a bookmark. I mean, if I was more thorough, I would go through the list, and I go through the book myself and make my own list, but who has time for that? Shortcuts. And he can just pick which words. I'm gonna have him read them ahead of time, when he starts his book. And then the idea is it's going to help deepen his understanding of his book and maybe help him retain some of his vocabulary more. And he can just pick 3 words a day to do his word study on. Okay, so I did dig up the backpacks for the 2 older boys and made their binders. Bo's is out. I just made a, my own little cover for each one. They're kind of they each have a different color on them. But I did have to order Bo a backpack because he didn't have a backpack, so that's still coming. Okay, I'm gonna look back. I think I just got 1 day's worth of notebooking pages in Everett's new notebook. So I'm just kind of looking to see how it's going. And I'm going to start kind of planning out how I'm going to be recording his work this year. So he's doing math online with IXL. So we'll use his math pages just to record and use his scratch paper. And here is for his RC book or whatever his off, list book. So like, this is his previous one. He just finished Desperate Measures. Again, here's one of those homemade vocabulary lists. And these books he can read them. It takes like 2 days. He reads for 2 hours a day now as we're, transitioned him into the RC method. Yes, so he didn't have a whole lot left to notebook on this day because he'd already read the majority of the book. But he has a notebooking page for that, for his reading, and then here's his vocabulary page. But I just happened to notice he didn't do it, so I'm flagging it for him to do. Same with his writing. We are transitioning between notebooks, so I think he did his writing in his other notebook, and I'll pull it out later, you'll see. But I'm going to have him go back, actually this is Saturday, so he still has to do math on Saturdays, but I'm going to have him finish those 2 pages today as well. So, there's his other writing notebook. But I'm skipping over to his to-do list. So I'm just writing what I want him to do. It's Saturday, I'm just adding on. He needs to do his vocab, and he needs to do his writing, which is just gonna be, basically a rewrite. So it won't be hard. He can do that all on his own because he has the notes from me for my feedback yesterday on that assignment. He just checks off on his to-do list, his work as he gets it done. And I'm gonna be having him just turn that into me. It helps me just to easily glance at stuff during the day to see where he is, but I'm going to use it to help me record at the end of the week. And I'm still not 100% sure exactly how I'm going to do my recording this year. I feel like it's a weird year because we also have some co-op classes. I'm like, do I record that in here? I think some of it I'll need to because I'm using it towards his requirements. Like his computer science class he's taking at co-op. But obviously I don't have any work for that yet since co-op hasn't started. But yeah, I definitely wanted to get our homeschool stuff, our pattern, down before we added the co-op classes. Oh, and I decided just to go ahead and pick the 3 words for him just for the sake of time, just to give him a little break on a Saturday. Just here's the words, just do them. And then I'm just recording what the words are. That's another one of the things I have to decide, what am I going to record? What am I going to keep in my records? How detailed. I usually like to keep lesson numbers. That's a really easy way to keep track of what work they did in there. But yeah, when it's something like this, it's vocabulary. If it's just 3 words, I feel like it's easy just to jot down what the actual words were he was working on. And then I have a running kind of record of his vocabulary that we're covering. For writing, he's still working on his writing and rhetoric. That's why you see me writing W and R. Okay, so here is his notebook he's been working out of over the summer. And I have him mark down the date and what page numbers that he was working from when he did the work. So it gives me something to record. So I'm not just writing, oh, he did writing. I'm actually have a page number. And if it's a special, an actual essay, he did this week, I'd be writing down his refutation essay. So there's a record that he's actually writing papers. Composition is required here, starting in 7th grade. I'm just making notes to him on his to-do list for today when he comes in. He's I think he was still sleeping in when I was doing this in the morning. I changed his social studies. I changed it from history to social studies. We will be doing history at home, but he'll also be doing geography at co-op. So both of those things are going towards social studies. I think I'm going to record both of work for both of those subjects under social studies. It might be one of those things, I may just not record his geography work. It may be one of those things that's I don't really need to because I'm already fulfilling my social studies requirement with history. But that's what I was thinking by changing it from history to social studies. And I set up his to-do list for next week. Eventually, we're probably going to have him go back to having Monday morning meetings where he fills that out himself. But I just was trying to kind of brainstorm what I want it to look like for him. Okay, I was just showing you my storage. I like to just use my paper boxes and keep anything that's just not in the binder that we're keeping for work, for records. I've just been putting it into those boxes. I think the bottom one, I think it had like 2 or 3 years worth. So I get quite a bit in there since we do keep a lot of our notebooks that we fill up. They go on the boys' bookshelves in their room. I did tidy up the schoolroom just a touch, and we're ready for a new week.